So before we go any further, we definitely have to take a look at what Dom Traversal is. So traversing the DOM really means to move through. jQuery traversing is used to find or select HTML elements based on their location or relation to other elements. First, we start with one element selection and move through that selection until you reach the element that you desire. So we'll be taking a look at ancestors, descendants, siblings, and also first and last. And ancestor is a parent, grandparent, great grandparent, and so on. A descendant is a child, grandchild, great grandchild, and so forth. Siblings share the same parent. And of course, first and last means the first child and last child of any element. So let's go to our editor and take a look at some examples of these. Okay, so we're back in our editor, and from here on out, I'll be pasting our HTML code. All right, so in order to speed things up a bit, I'll just paste the HTML and then we'll go through it, and then we'll go through the code or script involved in manipulating our elements. So this was our last example. So let's change this out. All right. Okay, so let's grab our code here. So let's paste this in. All right, so here we have a div, and it has some child elements. It has a span, a paragraph, a div, and another paragraph. And you'll notice here that the class for this paragraph and this div is called selected. Okay, so let us change out our script. So now we want to select the children, and we can do that. So we want to select our div, and we can basically target all children of that div, and we can even specify that we want to target all elements with a class of selected, and change that CSS so we're just going to change that CSS color to blue. So let us save this. And let us refresh our page. And you can see that it has changed the CSS color for our two middle elements, our paragraph and also our div. And you can see it's still grabbing that styling that we have specified up here. Okay, so another example, we'll look at an unordered list. So let me grab that code or that snippet of HTML. So let's grab our, and let's paste that in. So we have an unordered list with some children. It has an li and it has a nested unordered list. Okay, so let us look at how we'd like to target this list. So let's come down here and let's remove this. All right, so how we can go about doing this: first, let's get our $sign. Let's open up. So first we can specify that we would like our unordered list, and then we can actually add the class right here. So we want the top nav to specify which unordered list we want. So the one with an ID of top nav, and then we want the children, child li elements of that top nav, and we're going to change that CSS color. All right, let's give it a border, and let's give it a 3 pixel. Let's give it double and red. All right, so let's save this. Go to our editor. Let's refresh. Right, and now we can see our item. We have selected the ones that we wanted. So we've successfully selected all the child elements of our UL with a class of top nav. Let's look at another example. Okay, so let's look at an example of a parent. Okay, so let me get my HTML ready. And now we have a div with a class of ancestors. We have some styling for our nested div. We have an unordered list, and we have another div with a paragraph and a span. All right. So let us grab that. So we're going to get the parent, and we're going to chain a CSS function, and we're going to specify several parameters here. So we're going to give it a red color. Also, we're going to give it a border, 2 pixels. Okay, so let us save this file and go back and refresh. Okay, so here we're actually seeing the styling, and this is, let me get rid of this styling that we have here for our divs. So let's comment that out. All right, so looking at this, everything is all jumbled up, so we'll definitely be adding some CSS styling to this. So let's come up here, let's remove all of this, and let's call our dot ancestors class here. So we can say that. And we want all our classes that say ancestors, and we want to say display. Let's do display block. Let's give it a border. With a light gray. Five pixels padding, and give it a margin of 15 pixels. And let us now save this and refresh. All right, so now we get a much better view of each of these elements inside of our span. So we can now take a look at the HTML again, and we see here that the nested elements are the unordered list with the li, and inside that li we have a span, and the span selector, when you chain the parent method to it and we change that CSS border to red, we can see that the direct parent of our span here is our li and our paragraph. So here we have our li and our paragraph with the CSS being changed. Alright, so in the upcoming videos, we're going to take a look at a couple more examples.